Edgar Cayce. The Revelation Chart. Part 2. The Revelation Chart was prepared by Gladys Davis and Helen Ellington. How was the Revelation Chart put together? In reading 28163, Edgar Cayce was asked to comment on the Revelation Chart, to give corrections and value of it as a key to the study of the Book of Revelation in relation to the human body. Without this question and Edgar Cayce's answer to it, the chart would never have been included as a report to 28163. Helen Ellington and Gladys Davis had been studying and meditating to get their own revelation of the Revelation, as each member of the group was told to do. As you know, this group had obtained the 262 series on A Search for God, the 281 series on Prayer and Healing, on the Revelation, and on the Glands. We were now at the point of trying to get our own revelation, especially as to the 12 major divisions of the body. The 12 tribes paraphrasing in the chart was taken from Smith's Bible Dictionary, 1895 edition, Holman and Company. I spent the night with Mrs. Ellington, and we sat up until 3 in the morning with ideas or flashes flowing back and forth between us. That's how this Revelation Chart was born. Ruth Denny had subsequently worked with Helen Ellington on the chart. I remember the nights I spent with you when we sat up late talking about the readings, especially the all-night session when we figured out the 12 major divisions of the body in the Revelation. Comment on the chart, give corrections and value of it as a key to this study. As interpreted in the minds of those who have put the chart together, this in the main is very good. As to the varied centers, their reactions and activities, these, to be sure, become more individual. But as we have indicated, and as will be the experience of individuals in the study of this chart, these will necessarily respond to that consciousness, or awareness that has been attained by the student, or the individual entity. And these should be a helpful influence in the minds of those as they attempt to apply same in their own experience and relationships. To be sure, as given, and as may be the experience of those as they study the outline indicated from the chart, there will be times when individuals will interpret correctly. There will be times when there will be doubts, until a practical application of same is made in the experience of the individual entity. These are the sons of Israel: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, and Zabilan, Dan, Joseph, and Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Are we correct in interpreting the 144,000 who were sealed as being spiritualized cellular structure of the 12 major divisions of the body? Correct. And this is as of a man, and the name of same. What was meant in the reading, 28129, in connection with 144,000 who were sealed as being spiritualized cellular structure of the 12 major divisions of the body, when the reading gave, correct, and this is as of a man, and the name of same? Please explain. Just as has been illustrated or given, as to the relative force of the vibratory forces of the individual, which is shown in an individual soul, or entity by its name, and its activity in all the influences, or environs through which it passes in that which is a shadow in man, active, living, to those influences that are relative to the infinitive position of a soul's activity in a universe. In connection with the symbols of revelation, what are the 12 major divisions of the body? Those that are of the general construction and those that are of the keeping alive physical, and those that are in keeping with the influences to the mental, to the material, to the spiritual. And the illustrations are shown in the bodily forces that are opened for those activities in a material plane. Please give a pattern outlining how the 12 major divisions of the body are set up through the endocrine system in the nucleus. This has been given, as to how they pass from one influence to another, in manner in which the mother in its application of thought, of food, of mind, carries those activities to the various centers making the body building, the nerve and blood building, the emotions, and the very natures to which the pattern will be formed in its relationship to that with which contact is made. For, oft, as may be demonstrated in individualities, there are those who are geniuses and yet are so very close to the border that an emotional shock may make a demon of a genius. There are those activities in which a spiritualized cell, by environment, may make of the demon a saint. Are the 12 major divisions of the body formed simultaneously, and by what means? No. These all are growths. Is our chart valuable in tracing disease from result to cause? Please give an example using chart. This as a tracing of heredity in disease may be valuable. As for that of other natures, not so good. These would give, as by the very nature of the chart activity, how the activity of the chromosome upon the ovum shows whether the body would be susceptible to one or another character of disease. Notice the spiritual attribute of soul being represented in the physical by the tribe of Joseph, who became Jesus, the Christ. The meaning of the name Joseph is he will increase, and he is the purest character known to history except Jesus. Read the story of Joseph and his brothers with the chart in mind, fitting each one into his place. Notice how closely allied with Benjamin the brother Joseph is, and how beloved Benjamin is. The soul without the will would be lost indeed. Joseph was the 11th son of Jacob, body, but the first son of Rachel. Probably this means something, and also Rachel, which we have to figure out. Benjamin, fortune, was the 12th son of Jacob, body, and the second son of Rachel. There's the weakness and the strength in the two. The soul and will united makes the triune of strength. Benjamin had the affection of his brothers, and received their favors as a matter of course, and was not very positive, but a quiet, gentle spirit. The will without the soul couldn't do very much. The tribe of Benjamin was always of least consequence. The tribe was almost destroyed for violating the rights of hospitality, 600 only escaping to the rock Rimmon, which they held for 4 months against their enemies. The Benjamites seized the daughters of Shiloh, and preserved a tribe from extinction, at an annual feast of the Lord. The first deliverer of Israel, from Moab, in the time of the judges, was Ehud, a Benjamite. The first king of Israel was Saul, a Benjamite, and Saul, Paul, the apostle, was also of this tribe. It is interesting to note also that in Jerusalem, temple body, there is a gate called Benjamin. Also it is interesting to notice that when Jacob, body, blesses or gives the message to his sons, he calls them in order of their birth, but in Revelation, according to the Spirit, they are given their place according to spiritual merit. Simeon and Levi, being desire and choice, must certainly be closely united. Simeon, hearkening, and Levi, to adhere, killed a whole tribe because of wrong they considered done to their only sister, Dinah. Here it might be worth while to note that there are 12 openings in the body of man, and 13 in the body of woman. Perhaps this Dinah, acquitted, has some reference to daughters of men, and the desire and choice which caused so much trouble in the beginning. Nothing is recorded as to what became of Dinah. She was a 13th child of Jacob, body, the only daughter. Simeon was the second son of Jacob, body. He is the weakness of two again, and only becomes strong with the choice added to desire. The only great name of the tribe on record is the widow Judith, the heroine of the apocryphal book of Judith, where she appears as an ideal type of piety, beauty, courage and chastity. There were 18 cities given to Simeon, including the famous well of Beersheba. A part of the tribe, 500 men, took possession of a district in Mount Seir, where they were still living after the return from the captivity. Levi, third son of Jacob. Levi's descendants, among whom were Moses and Aaron, were made the ministers of religion and the representatives of the national faith. Jacob prophesied that Levi should be scattered among his brothers, which was fulfilled in the distribution of the tribe among the 48 Levitical cities, which was scattered throughout the whole country. The tribe displaced the earlier priesthood of the firstborn, as representatives of the holiness of the people. They guarded the ark, and were reckoned separately as the host of the Lord, and were not counted in the army. Their special duties were the daily sacrifice, and the work about the tabernacle and temple, in a certain appointed order. See division in Bible Dictionary of the tribe into 3 separate branches according to their functions. So much is given about this tribe, that seems to have a peculiar significance to the body physical spiritual, and Jacob's saying, I will divide them in Jacob, body, and scatter them in Israel, seekers. Issachar, higher, 9th son of Jacob, 5th son of Leah. He is not mentioned again as a person, only as a tribe. Interesting, considering this to be conscience. Its land was and is now the richest in Palestine. We are left to suppose that the tribe fell into idolatry, because there is nothing recorded in favor of its religious history. In the order of march in the desert, Issachar's place was on the east of the tabernacle, with Judah and Zabilan. Notice a strong-boned Hias, couching down between 2 hedgerows, apparently the missing link, or connecting link, between the preservation of the physical, Judah, and the light of the spiritual, Zabilan. Since conscience is not very tangible in the physical body, it is easy to see why the tribe apparently passed out of existence. Aser, 8th son of Jacob, 4th son of Bilhah. The boundaries of the tribe are extremely difficult to trace. Imagine trying to trace life in a physical body, or measure the 8th step, after the 7th gland seal is opened. It is only known that the boundaries were north of Carmel, Park, Fruitful Field, on the Great Sea, 7 glandular centers leading to spiritual. Notice the description in anatomy as to how the lymph ducts carry the water of the blood. The land, tribe of Aser, contains some of the richest soil in Palestine, and minerals. Anna, who lived in the temple, watching for the coming of Christ, was of this tribe. Naphtali wrestled, 5th son of Jacob, 2nd of Bilhah. There is not a word said about him personally in the scriptures. See Exodus, 12 tribes. Evidently Naphtali used his opportunity to become all nerves, that is, impulses, instead of actualities or personal recognition. Notice, Naphtali is a hind let loose, he giveth goodly words. Jesus said, Father, thy word is truth. So perhaps the nerves give the words of truth the opportunity to register and be carried to all parts of the body. There is no reason given for depriving Manasseh of his birthright, as there was in the case of his granduncle Esau. On leaving Egypt at the Exodus, this was the least of the 12 tribes, but later increased so that he is honored with the first mention before Ephraim. The division of the tribe is one of the singular facts in the history of the Israelites, seekers, and seems to be at variance with the national feeling and laws. Some of this tribe were warriors and made extensive conquests. It is also interesting here to notice that Ephraim was given the birthright, yet Manasseh is one of the 12 divisions of the body mentioned in Revelation. Consequently, Ephraim must have to do with that 13th element again, or the opening of the woman, which becomes so necessary to the tribe of Manasseh, in order to become powerful through united strength to eliminate Satan, Dan's serpent, or to undo the harm caused when the sons of God looked upon the daughters of men, etc. Consequently, woman spiritualized, as in Mary, the mother of the Lord, gives power to man and strength to overcome. Ephraim means double fruitfulness. He was the second son of Joseph by his wife Asenath. Again, the weakness of 2 and less made strong in the triune. Joshua the son of Nun was of the tribe of Ephraim. Joseph disliked the idea of Jacob blessing Ephraim above his older brother Manasseh, yet Joseph himself chose the tribe of Ephraim for his channel of reappearance, as Joshua. There was the earthly power objecting to the spiritual power, or man saying, "Let me sit on the right hand," etc., not realizing yet it has to be merited. The portion of Ephraim in Canaan, lower country, bowed down, was elevated hilly, and having the plain of Sharon, a narrow strip on the west, Esdraelon on the north, and the Jordan Valley on the east, in the center of the country. It was 55 miles from east to west and 70 miles from north to south. The whole was called Mount Ephraim. It had the precious things of the earth, and the fullness thereof, as blessed by Moses. The finest and most fruitful of all the land. Afterward called Samaria. Its wealth and importance were increased by the presence of the Ark of the Covenant, and the tabernacle at Shiloh within its borders. The people were jealous, and at enmity with the tribe of Judah from the time of David. If this does mean the woman, can't you see the jealousy and warring with Judah through the gradual giving away of the power into the hands of Judah for the preservation? Very few attempts to conquer Ephraim were ever made, and Shalmaneser, see explanation below, only succeeded through the internal divisions of the kingdom of Samaria, Watch Mountain. Samaria is mentioned along with Shechem. See Shechem Samaria. Shalmaneser, Almansa, reverential towards fire, king of Assyria, took Samaria after a siege of 3 years, and carried Hoshea captive beyond the Euphrates, ending the kingdom of Israel. Notice the fire under the mental influence. When Samaria, city on a hill, Watch Mountain, is overcome, we rise to the mental influence with its attributes and are able to conquer the 12 major divisions of the body, 12 tribes, through mind over matter. Judah, praise Jehovah, fourth son of Jacob by Leah, see 4 influences to body of man from his source throughout. Judah was a leader in family matters from his youth up, and more is known of him than any other save Joseph. Reuben advised the brothers to throw Joseph into a pit, and Judah proposed the sale to the traders, both acting honorably to themselves, wishing to save the life of Joseph, preservation, you see. Judah went before Jacob, body, into Egypt, mystery. In the beginning the soul has to assimilate before it could build up a body. Jacob, body, honors Judah, preservation, first in his blessings. It was from the line of Judah and Tamar that Jesus came. Here again, we see a woman playing such an important part in the preserving of the strain. See Genesis 38. Nothing is given as to where Tamar came from, or from what family, yet what she did was counted to her for righteousness. Reuben, behold, a son, first son of Jacob and Leah. The tribe of Reuben was located, at their own request, on the east side of Jordan, and against the wishes of Moses. Notice Jordan means the descender, the watering place, largest river in Palestine. Notice how perpetuation and blood circulation fit in with this, when we consider that the blood in the physical is the pattern of water in the spiritual, that from whence all comes. The children of Israel passed over Jordan, and were perpetuated. Gad, troop, Jacob's 7th son, firstborn of Zilpah, Aelpah, brother to Aser, life. The country given to the tribe was the center of the east of Jordan. Notice Reuben's choice, above. The most beautiful district in Syria, a high range of purple-tinted mountains, cut down by deep ravines, partially clothed with forests of oak, sycamores, beech, figs, evergreen shrubs, etc. The climate is fine and soil fertile, affording the best pasturage. Notice the similarity between the location of Gad in the center and the glands of reproduction in the body, the seat of the tree of life, the opportunity to retrace one's steps through attracting and constructing spiritual cells that will overcome the troop that has been attracted by undesirables or non-essentials throughout the ages. It is noteworthy that the tribe of Gad was carried into captivity, and its cities inhabited by Ammonites, sons of my relatives. The Ammonites were descended from Lot. Women of the Ammonites were in Solomon's house. The last mention of them is in 1 Maccabees 6, 30-43. Solomon means wisdom. So with wisdom, we will start spiritualizing ourselves, and by the law of attraction return to that from whence we came. Zabilan is the light, Zabilan, Greek form of Zebulun, the haven in the sea, spiritual, from which we first began to digest outside things, and add all these attributes. Zabilan shall dwell at the haven of the sea, and he shall be for an haven of ships, and his border shall be unto Zidon. Zidon means fishing. The Jews never conquered the city, and so far failed of the promise. It is one great garden, filled with every kind of fruit-bearing trees, nourished by streams from Lebanon, the White Mountains of Palestine, on the north of the country given to the Israelites. Zabilan means dwelling. It is a city without foundation, a house not made with hands, whose maker and finisher is God.